just wanted to get started here with my infinite zoom drawing. Today, that's my photograph of what I'm working on. Let me get to my program, which is the Endless Paper program. I'll go right here to right here, Endless Paper, and we'll bring ourselves right into the drawing that I'm working on, which is, let's get it oriented correctly for this broadcast. So this is the Infinite Zoom program. It's a vector program that allows you to infinitely zoom. So far, I haven't found the end. I keep drawing, and I haven't found the end of the paper. Therefore, the name is Endless Paper. So here we are, looking for the next phase of the alphabet here, which would be the C. I haven't completed the C picture, but I have it roughed out. And I have to think sometimes about where do I go in to find, so the kitty cat has a necklace. And if we go into the necklace and we notice there's a funny little thing on the hill, what's that all about? We'll go there, and I kind of feel like I want to come in here and draw some more things so that the D blends in a little bit. So I think I'll probably do that. And those little lines are to remind me to finish that out. And so when we go in here to the D, I'm going to look a little bit closer at these deer that I haven't finished. And I noticed that on the moon, there's a pattern. And that's going to take me to the E, which is as far as I've gotten in my process of developing this full alphabet. I would love to make a little alphabet book where I would have a page like this, and then I would probably have a close-up of how you zoom in and have some words that start with whatever letter I decide to work with that image, and publish it as a little alphabet book, and then have the infinite zoom available online so people could play with the imagery. And I would probably create some hidden pictures that don't zoom in, but you would just go off to the side and you would discover, for instance, let's just say that we would go in here and we might discover that there's a pilot, a happy face pilot behind the wheel here. And let's make this, oops, a little bit bigger. I'm on the top layer, so I'm just drawing right on the top here. It's on the top of everything. And we're not going to zoom into this. We're just going to draw a little happy face as if he's flying the plane. And then we'll go ahead and use let's put a green shirt on him. And we'll put a gray instrument panel in front of him. So you can zoom in there and you can see the pilot. Now, I really should research, what does an instrument panel look like? I don't think they have a steering wheel like in a car. I think they actually have a lot of levers. You know, I mean, I think they don't have this. In fact, I'm going to use the eraser, which is always kind of a crazy... See that the eraser on this program is absolutely horrible, and I'm putting up with it at this point. Erase only on this one, right? Oh, so why did it do that? I have no idea. I have to hit the back button. Again, I'm having trouble with the eraser. Let's go to the top layer. Let's tell it to erase only on the current level, which is the top layer. Oh, thank you. It worked. So let's just pretend he's, and we'll clean this up a little bit, that he's got gears and levers that he's holding on to. Any pilots out there, please feel free in the comments to shame me for for how bad I'm describing the inside of a plane. I have no idea what it's like actually on the inside of a plane. And we'll just go ahead and put, oh, let's put a, I want to find a nice, we'll put him in a purple chair. Just going to check the comments to see if anybody stopped by. Hello, nice to see you. So we've got our happy face driving the airplane as just a little bit of a side drawing, but we are in fact going to zoom in to the main drawing, which we're on the A page now. We're about to move into the B page. And here we've got the B that I'm going to finish out in a minute, but I'll just show you really quickly how this zooming in is working so far. So we've got, you know, bear, black bear for B with a banana, but there's something on the banana peel and it's a C. And so we're going to move into the C, and I have to finish out all of these cactuses in this desert scene. And we see there's a cat sitting on the hill, and he is wearing a very interesting necklace. And the necklace has some things happening in here. And we find the D page. And so as we move into the D page, what I'll finish out the dragonfly and the daffodils, but I kind of love the deer under the Big Dipper. But I notice on the moon there's a detail, and we move into the E page, which is going to be an elephant. And so that's how the infinite, and I'll just keep going all the way to the end of the alphabet. And that's how the infinite zoom works. So I'm going to move back out here and just do some drawing and explain how the tools work as I'm drawing. You saw me get frustrated with the eraser. I would say out of all the tools here, that is the only tool that I find a bit difficult. Otherwise, these tools, the pens are great. I could go over here on the side way. I have to go all the way out to the A to find a nice blank piece of paper right here. And we could test out what these look like. We've got a yellow there with a heading and a regular, so there's just different line widths with that one. This one is, I love this one. Purple's the last. This is my favorite. I just basically use this one all the time because it's got the thick, thin pressure sensitivity. And then we've got a fine point pen, and it seems like we could change colors with that, and we can change how big it is. So it's not a lot different than the first one, but a little bit, I guess. Maybe the first one, I'm not sure about that. So let me go here to a pink, so we know that we're dealing with a completely different color. So this is sort of interesting. This one is the transparency. It doesn't seem to have the pressure sensitivity. So let's go up a layer, upper. And let's go to the top layer. There, it's on top. Okay, so it's not transparent. It's definitely not transparent. Okay, I thought maybe it would be transparent, but it's not. So far, I have not discovered how to do transparency with these brushes, and maybe there just isn't a transparency with this program. I tend to just go ahead and use the program as if it's just a vector line without any transparency. It's just very dense colors, kind of like gouache painting. So I feel like I'm pretty well done with the A. I'm just going to go here again because I can't resist. And I'm going to say that I want to erase, erase on all levels. And I'm going to erase that right there. So I just told it erase on all levels, and yet it is not erasing on all levels. So I'm going to go to the upper level. I'll go to the erase only above the current level. I'll go to the bottom layer. I'll go to the lower layer. So I'm going to hit lock here. Maybe that's it. Nope, that's not it. I'm going to go to the top, and I'm going to tell it to erase only above, only below. There we go. What was that? All I can do is laugh about that. I just can laugh, you know? It's so hard to use. It's almost to the point where I want to go back over to Endless Canvas and use that app instead, because the only problem is on Endless Canvas, I don't have the pressure sensitivity. It doesn't work with the iPad and the Apple Pencil, but it does work with other programs or other hardware. So I think it'll work with maybe a stylus with a Wacom tablet, or a stylus with an Android phone. So I'm going to move on in to, let's see, did I finish the B? This is what I was going to work on. And I was going to grab, so I'll press this right here, this little star. I want to find out what layer I'm on first. So let's go here. I'm going to turn off the top layer. Okay, so I just did some lines a few minutes ago, and they're on the top layer, but these other lines are on the upper layer. It doesn't really matter, so I'll just go ahead and keep going on, it doesn't matter, either layer, because I'm not ever going to turn off all the layers permanently. I just turn them on and off so that I can see what layer I'm on. And I want to go to the top layer. I want to choose a color. I want to choose that color right there. So now I've got that color. I've got my brush. I'm on the top layer. And I'm going to hit this. So I've got, you notice how, let me unlock that. You notice how these lines are not completely straight? but these lines are perfectly straight. The way that you get a perfectly straight line is you press this little button right here, this little asterisk. And when you put your line down, it's a little bit fat. I'm going to hit the back button up here. Back, back, forward, forward, back, back. Really, really having trouble with this program today. Doing it live. This is part of the reason that I think I'm going to switch back to endless canvas, because the tools just don't, they're just not very compatible. How about if I turn that off and go back? Wow. Is it doing something else? Like, have I gotten back? No. Yes, I've gotten back all of that. Did I erase that? Yeah, I tried to erase that. And now I'm hitting the back button. Okay, so I probably made a mistake there. It's not the program's fault. It's my fault. I probably didn't understand what I was doing in the moment. So I'm going to make this a little bit smaller, and I am going to draw with straight lines. It's still kind of big. Now I'm going to hit the back button, back, back. So I'm not sure I'm not sure where that line came from. It must have been there before I started drawing. And I'm going to go even smaller. Just check the comments. So one of the things with drawing live or going live, anybody who goes live, it's live. It's like live TV back in the day. And it can be frustrating when mistakes, when things don't go right. And that can happen in programs. You're using an application, basically. I don't like how any of that looks. I'm going to go back and redo it. I think I'm just going to let these lines end rather than have it cropped off there. That looks good. And then we'll go back here to this small b. So going live is really risky. You can end up with big mistakes happening. People are watching. You just have to go with it. So I had thought about looking up some interesting facts about the different animals that I have in my pictures for this alphabet. And I thought, well, I wanted to kind of do it quickly, so I asked ChatGPT to look up 2 fun facts that people don't know, that most people don't know about alligators, black bears, an apple, an airplane. And I'll probably open up ChatGPT to remind myself of some of the things it told me. But there was some really cool things. Well, black bears, the one about black bears, I did already know because I lived in Alaska and there were a lot of black bears there. So black bears come in different shades of black. Like it's not really black. There's cinnamon black bears. There's they come sort of looking more gray, looking more brown, looking, not black. But their bodies are shaped and their size is smaller, like a black bear. and they are black bears. They just have color variations. That was one thing about black bears that was interesting. And then I didn't ask about bananas. I did ask about, let's go back out here. What did they say about alligators? Oh, this was this was amazing about alligators. And this has been documented in some of the northernmost states in the U.S. That alligators live in, where the water occasionally they'll get some cold weather and the water will freeze. So the alligator knows based on the water temperature what's going on in their environment, and so if they sense that there's going to be a freeze, they will pop their snout out of the water and so that they can breathe while the water freezes. They don't get trapped underneath the ice. Their nose is poked out of the ice. And it's been documented evidently, and it's happened more than once. Like, this is not just a fluke. It didn't just happen once. This is part of how they survive. And they're like millions. Alligators were alive back when dinosaurs were alive. They lived side by side with dinosaurs. And so that makes me believe that that fun fact about them, that they pop their noses out of the water and let the water freeze around their nose, so they can still breathe. Obviously, they have lived a long, long time. So they've got to have some pretty unique survival skills. So I don't remember what the other fun fact about black bears was. I'll have to go look it up again. And then cactuses. So there's a cactus, one of these cactuses, and I think it's like the round ones that grow really, really big. If you've ever been to the desert and seen those really big cactuses, I think those are the ones that have a really shallow, vast root system, and they can collect water super quickly when it rains. They just suck the water in, and they're like an accordion, and their flesh of the plant expands, and you see, like, it's got folds almost, and it expands. And they can weigh, like, when they're full of water, they can weigh up to a ton, evidently. Huge. You couldn't move them. You couldn't just knock them over. They weigh a ton. So you did definitely have to use like an excavator or something. Like, they're so big and heavy, and they live for a long time. It's, again, a really unique survival skill. And so they can live for many, many years. And they can also store the water. Like, they collect that water and store it for months. They can even store it for years. So just moving in on the infinite zoom here to show you, if you just joined me, that this is as far as I've gotten. So let's see, what are we going to work on next? I could work on daffodils or deer or dragonfly or a little forest around there. I kind of want to work from the outside in, and so it makes me want to start working on some of these cactuses. So we'll work on those for a little while. And I think this color will not be the same. Turn off the straight line. Let's make it a little bit bigger. I'm just going to start making that accordion look on this. I tend to, with this program, I tend to draw over and over and over things. I sort of just feel my way with the pen, and then I look back and I'm like, oh no, that doesn't look good, and I'll go over it again. It's just how it works with this program. I end up finding that I adapt my style. Oops, let me go here and use this one. And let's pick that green. Let's make this a little bit smaller so I have a little more control. I tend to, oops, I went too thick on that. Put this up here in the center where you can see better. Pressing hard, and then I let off and it thins down a little bit. Oops, I started off pretty. Go back on that one. So I may end up using a much smaller brush to refine these lines because they're not all working out the way I want them to, which is okay. That's what the part I'm saying is, like with each program that I work with, the tools are similar, but they, you know, each program is unique, and therefore I kind of have to figure out how to nuance my methods. So here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go, whoops, come back here, please. I'm going to make my pen a lot smaller, and I'm going to zoom in, and I'm going to refine these lines. There are times when it's a little bit awkward on this program because I can't turn. My hand is in a fixed place. The screen is in a fixed place because I'm videoing this. And if you draw at all, you'll know that sometimes you want to turn your paper. So this is like a little bit of a challenge with live drawing. I can't, with a camera on it, I can't turn my paper, so I have to make things work by just moving my hand. Which is fine. It's a challenge for me. Smooth this one out a little bit. I might switch back over to that other green and do it the opposite so I don't lose that line. Go back to the olivey green. So I have this somehow on here, there is a quick erase set up on this pen that I bump every once in a while, and I'll erase things without meaning to. The challenges of digital. But digital is so easy to clean up. There's no cleanup. I have to say, I love it. I just put the iPad away. I don't have to wash out any brushes, clean up any surfaces. It's very easy. And that's all I'm doing right now is digital. I've done a ton of painting in the past and will paint on paper again and probably do live stream videos with that. But I'm not in that phase right now. I'm in this phase. I'm in the digital art phase, and I'm going with it. Thanks for joining me. I really appreciate the viewers. So we'll go ahead and put a nice dark cap on here. I'm using a little bit different shade than of green just to make it interesting. Visually, some variation. Okay, so I'm going to choose a very light, show you how this works. Go to here, and I can lighten this up with my triangle. And I am going to add the little spikes. I want the ends to be as narrow as possible. So, and I want them to show up. So I think I'm actually going to switch up to a white, a nice bright white. And let's go from, I'd kind of like to go from the inside out because then I can, it's harder to go from the outside in and it gets a little wobbly. All right, let's try it again. I can't get the same yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, this is the nuancing of the tools. So notice, in order to get that pressure sensitive line, I can't do, oh, you know what I might try instead? So these lines are a lot straighter than that line, but I can use my straight tool. Let me go back. So what I'm trying to accomplish here, get outside of my head and explain what I'm doing. I'm trying to accomplish a tapered line, but I want it to be really straight. So I'm going to turn this on. That's my straight line tool. And I'm going to start with super high pressure sensitive. I'm pressing really hard. Oh, it still doesn't work. Okay, so let's do it this way. We'll start out light and go heavy. Oh, interesting. The pressure sensitivity does not work with the straight tool. So maybe we'll just let, don't like it, back. All right. So we're going to turn that off and we're just going to go with the painterly lines. They're very painterly. Because they are not straight. How do I like that? They're almost a little bit too big. So this is really how you work things out in drawings. You just, and so if I was drawing on paper, I'd just be doing a lot of practicing ahead of time. Let me move that one in. Let's follow the lines here. Okay, and I'm just going to go ahead and what do I like better? I think I'm going to do a little bit of both. Ah, that one worked. The pressure sensitivity is hard to get when you're moving fast. That's what I'm up against on this. Is like I want to move fast. Okay, so now I'm going to go back here and grab this green. Oops. Oops. Press that. Press the color. There we go. Okay. Back to our white. We're going to go ahead and make another row of these. Start here. It's starting to look pretty cactus-like. So there's a lot of cactuses to finish here. All the cactuses are going to have these little spikes on them. It's going to take me a long time. So that is definitely going to be a challenge. It's kind of like drawing all the little hairs on an animal. And a lot of times I don't do that in this program because it's, you know, I have this endless paper and I have so much to cover that I pick and choose where I'm going to show detail. But in order for these to really work, I'm just going to have to put in the time. It'll be interesting to find out how long it actually takes to put little spikies on all of these cacti. But I'm going to do it. Probably not in this live drawing session, but I will do it. So next up, his face is looking pretty good. I don't know that I'm going to do anything extra on that. I do feel like I could add a little bit of refinement here. I definitely know that I could go in and work on the deer. I'd like to put antlers on that guy. So the first thing I want to do is I want to find out what layers I'm on. These are on, and I want to continue on those layers. So first of all, the top layer, I'm going to move this over here so you can see where I'm focusing. I want to know about all these elements here. So the top layer, right now, the only thing that's on the top layer is that little moon detail, and that's fine. And then I'm going to turn off the upper layer. Okay, the deer and the letters are on the upper layer. The lower layer, the stars are on the lower layer. The dipper's on where's the dipper? The dipper's on the bottom layer. Okay. So I want to work on the deer. The deer are here. I want to work on the deer and the letters. So there we go. Let's do that. I will stay on upper layer. So here's my layers. There's upper. I'm asking for upper layer. Now I want to get this brown. Okay. Got that brown. Here I want to get this black, just in case I need it. And I'll choose a different color for the antlers. Where am I? Make that a little bit bigger. Oh, I've got a straight line chosen. That's why I'm having a little trouble. So I also want to choose a hoof color, and I think I'm going to choose a gray actually for the hoof color. A dark gray. Okay, so here we go. And the hooves are very pointy and straight. And a little bit of the fur, if it's like a horse, comes down to the heel. And I'm pretty sure they just have two. I might go a little smaller and clean that up. They have two toes, a split hoof. Just going to check the comments really quick. Thanks for stopping by. I appreciate the views. Okay, so I'm going to go and use that very fine eraser. I'm going to go to the upper. I'm going to tell it to erase right on the current level. Okay, again, it's not working. So I'm on the upper level. Okay, this is on the upper level. So let's tell it to erase only above the current level. Why did that work? I have no idea. So baffled by this eraser button on this program. I wonder if it's a bug, and they, if they don't know about it, I'm telling them live on YouTube, fix the eraser, please. Okay, so I think we should make this a little bit of a white-tailed deer. So I don't think I need that red. Let me go find a white here instead. White. I'm going to go back to my brown and refine that a little bit. Maybe make it look a little bit like hair. Not that anybody's ever going to notice that in a drawing like this, but I do it anyway. And this was a really quick sketch that I did with a big fat brush, but I'm actually loving how it turned out. I love that body language that little deer has and how big the ear is. So I'm going to go with it. I'm just going to probably do a little refinement here of, make sure I'm on the right layer. Yeah. of this back leg here. Okay, you can close now. So it looks a little more. And then I will probably choose, let's go over here to where this purple is. I don't need that purple right now. And I'm going to choose this color again. Oops, no. I'm going to choose, okay, I've forgotten how my tools work. So when I want to change that color, I press on it with my finger, I get the eyedropper, I go like this. Now I've got that color. I actually want a darker shade of that, so I'll just tap on it now, and I'm going to move it down here. Not quite that far, right there. So that I can create some shadows and show what's in front and what's behind. So I can switch back and forth. There we go. I like that. Give him a little bit of a proud, her proud chest sticking out there. And then let's put this leg behind. And that's how I'm going to draw that shadow. And this gives a little feeling of belly right here. So these simple little lines work really well. I'm going to switch here to this one, smooth out this little bit here. I'm going to go here and I'm going to create some shadow. Not quite totally certain about this. This is where I'm in here feeling my way because I don't have a plan. And I will probably go back and change it. Yeah, I'm definitely going to go back and change it. I also feel like, yeah, I want the ear to be that big and exaggerated, but I also sort of feel like the shape is wrong right there. So I'm going to go use my eraser and make it really small and see. So see how chunky it is there? Yow, undo. Let me see if I lock it, if that will help. Nope, that doesn't seem to help either. Let's make it even smaller. That helped a little bit. I'm just going to have to redraw it. Interesting. And my dark color went on top. It didn't. So interesting. All the challenges with this program. I didn't ask to change layers. Oh, I see. It's only erasing the object. Okay. Those are on the same layer. We're still on the same layer. Calm down, Maggie. It's just, gosh, challenging. I need to probably study these things that I'm having problems with. Will be covered in the, I've already read the eraser manual, the eraser section in the manual, but clearly I am missing something because I'm having so much trouble with the eraser. I'm going to reread it and see if I can figure out what I'm doing wrong. I'm going to undo that. I'm going to get that nice and smooth. Oh, I almost did it. There we go. I'll go back to this one. Refine this a little bit, make it nice and small. There we go. That's what I need. And again, not that anybody's going to look that close at this infinite zoom. I just do it because I have to. I'm like compelled to go in there and get the details for whatever reason. I'm liking that. So let's put a big old beautiful eye and a really lovely nose. Staying on the same layer. Actually, I'm going to go with that hoof color gray so that it shows up separately from let's go a little bit wider and fill that in. And a little smaller to refine it. I kind of want to go even a little bit darker. What am I doing here? Get it the way you want it, Maggie. There we go. Uh-oh, I lost my other gray. Whoops. I don't think we need that green, so I'll press on that green, get my eyedropper, got my lighter gray, and fix this in here. It's a little wobbly. That's okay. I know if anybody tries this, they're going to have wobbly. So I don't like to create the expectation that you're not going to have wobbly. I think it's perfectly fine to have wobbly. I think his mouth is going to come in somewhere around here. And he's not unhappy. Definitely not unhappy. And we'll go back to that lighter color and refine that one a little bit. Yay. So I want to go with just a little bit more of a chinny chin here. Let me zoom out and see how that looks. No, it looks a little bit too camel-like. So I'm not looking at anything. I'm going out of my brain. That looks better. I'll leave it there. And then we're gonna put a beautiful eye on here. Kind of want to go to the top layer to do the eye. Actually, no. I'll go to the upper layer to put the black circle of the iris, which is very big. And then I might go to a layer above it, upper, and go right over the top here with a little bit thicker. Make the eye really beautiful. So I can go back down. Oh gosh, what did I do? Let me go. I think I forgot to go to the top layer. What did I just do? Undo those. I'm on this layer right here. I'm on the upper layer. I want to put some white to the eye. So, okay, watch. I know you think, oh, she's ruining it. She's ruining it. I'm not ruining it. Trust me, I'm not ruining it. I'll show you what I'm going to do. I'm going to go back to the black. Make my perfect circle again. Now I'm going to go to the layer above, the top layer, and I'm going to grab that gray. I'm on the top layer. Now I should be able to go over the top of the eye. It's kind of like putting on makeup. And let's go back to this upper layer, which is not the top layer, and put a little accentuation of the eye. Love it. Give him a nice deep set eye. Okay, so there is our little, I'm going to just change how his neck goes right there. I want it to blend in a little bit better. I'm liking the little deer. I think he looks pretty cute. Thanks everybody for stopping by. Now we're going to move on to this guy. So I've got the same color palette. I think I'm just gonna start building him out just like I did the other one. Go with a little bit bigger pen. He's a grown-up and has those nice long legs, but they're a little stockier. I'm going to unlock this and see if I can get this pen a little bit bigger. So there's some weirdness going on here that I need to fix. So we'll go to the eraser, carve out some color here and redraw it. Okay. I think I can work with that. We'll go back here to the color that defines. Are the legs too stocky? A little bit. Ooh, looks like I've got something going on there with another layer. Is it the object? So that must be erase on all levels. I wonder if all levels doesn't mean layers. It means what you've drawn on this layer. I may have just figured something out. Okay, back to my brush. Let's make it fairly, back fairly small. See if we can't refine this. There. There's those wobbly lines again. It's okay. It's okay to have wobbly lines. Let's make these feet come down a little bit further. Although I want them to come down to the sort of thin hoof shapes, so I can't have them too fat. This one is still just a little bit big. Go back. Okay, now we're going to choose the hoof gray that I had before, which was here. Make this a tiny bit thicker. And I'm tempted to just add a little bit of a cloven detail there. But just do it like that. Okay. And we're going to add some shadows here. Actually, his belly should come down a little bit more like that. And then we're going to have this leg behind. So we'll do that by doing that right there. This is me switching back and forth till I get it just how I want it. There we go. A bit of that round shape. So we'll put this leg behind here. And that's all it takes really to tell you that leg is behind. I could put a little bit of a shadow coming down here. And then clean this up. So that's how I'll do that. So up here, I think we could make that look a little bit better. So let's grab our eraser. And then grab our paintbrush. And we'll just do a small tail because it's a little bit behind him. Let's go back with the white here, and again, I'm not ruining it. I promise I'm not ruining it. There we go. That works. Thanks for joining, folks. Appreciate it. I'm not seeing any comments, which is cool. That's fine. Love to have new subscribers. He's a pretty thick deer. I'm going with it. I'm going to let him be thick. And we'll just do a little refinement there too with this brush. It just looked a little rough. I'm going to add a shadow line right from the get-go here so that I can keep track of what I'm doing. Just going to bring that in a little bit. Oh gosh, it's such a chunky eraser. So bad. If anybody out there has compared the different endless Zoom apps, please make a comment. I mean, I love the pressure sensitivity of this. I'm having such a hard time getting the eraser tool to be useful the way I expect an eraser to work. Oh, that's a little bit too big. Let me redo that ear. Just, I wanted it bigger, but not quite that big. And then let's just color this all in. I may end up shrinking those ears a little bit. So I have the option don't like doing this. I could like just grab the black and I could go around here and refine the shape of this ear at the side of this by doing that. And I think I'm going to end up having to resign myself to that type of a fix because the eraser is just way too chunky to do what I want to do. And so I need to kind of quit fighting it. So here's what bothers me about this is I know what layer I just drew on. I drew on that layer right there. But if I go and I start turning layers on and off, so I could turn that layer off, the deer and everything disappears. But let me turn off the bottom layer. So you can see now those black lines are on a different layer. And they only work to cover up the way, to refine the edge of that brown is if they're on that same layer or a layer above. And it's like, oh, I don't like that. But I did read in comments because someone else was complaining, and this is what they suggest that you do, which is fine. It's fine. I can turn that layer back on, and you'll never know that I did that. But I know I did that, and it's because the eraser doesn't work properly. So that's okay. Go with it, Maggie. Stop fighting it. Life is about acceptance sometimes. So here we are, and I want to use the same two grays for the nose. We'll start with the light one. And then the nose sort of had a bump to it, and then it went out and curved into these little nostrils. This looks so blue when I look at it now. I'm probably going to have to go in here and do a little fixing. Some weirdness going on here. They also don't have a symmetry tool in this. If I was in Adobe Fresco right now, I would be using the symmetry tool to make a perfectly symmetrical nose. That's okay though. It's good drawing practice to not use those kind of tools. Makes your eye work hard. I liked that little bit of a swoop on his nose, so I'm going to bring that back. So this is where I go back and forth with the different colors until I get things looking the way I want them. I think I'm going to use a And then I'm going to go here and use this darker shadow. To refine the face shape a little bit. It went up a little bit too high with that dark shadow. Let's go back with this. So I'm going to do what I did before with the eyes. They're actually out on the side a little bit. Start over. They're pretty far apart on deer because they're prey animals and they want to see on they're not predators, they get preyed upon, and they want to be able to see all sides. And that makes me think about their ears. This ear is just way too low because they have to be able to see with their eye. I'm going to raise the ears up on this one. And make them, wow. Okay, I'm definitely going to have to redo the ears. They were too low. Up here where you can see me. Sometimes I get off the center of the page and don't even realize I've moved down. I get really into the zone. I'm just going to check the comments because that's another thing I do is I forget to check the comments. We're good. And I'm going to go to an upper layer and then do the eye outline that I did before. So again, I probably should have done the white. I'll go back in and do that on the lower layer. I'm going to go back down to this layer, do a little cleanup here. Excuse me. Okay, and I think I'm going to go in here and create some shadow like I did on this ear. A little bit clearer on what I'm trying to accomplish this time. I'm going to tidy up the ends here. You'll see in a moment how I do that. Because I've got some loops happening that I don't necessarily want to have as part of my final drawing. Go a little bit bigger with this line, see if I can. Okay, so I'll take the lighter color and I'm just gonna clean off some of those edges, and then like this first, make it smaller, and then I'm gonna just come back in with it to clean some of that up. And I'm going to go back here to this dark and see if kind of like that. And I might just do a little thing like that. And I'll clean it up with the black because I've given up on making the eraser work. There we go. Liking that. Need to finish out the details on that one. Kind of want to carve. This feels like there's a hump here that shouldn't be here. Somehow I ended up with get rid of those upward swoops there. Make it a little more of a downward swoop. There, that feels better. And it feels like I can now go back with this one with a small line, pretty small line, make it a little more hair-like. So this is sort of like when you see me work back and forth like this, this is definitely something you're going to do with when you're working on paper or a canvas, especially on a canvas where you can go back and forth, let paints dry, cover them up, completely work your colors back and forth. So this is really not any different than that. So we'll go over here, add some, actually I'm going to go back and do the same thing I did over here, which was don't accidentally, grabbing the wrong color, create a swoop that you don't want. Ah, there we go. Thank you. That works better. Carve these ears out a little bit deeper. Just a little bit bigger and get rid of some of these. There we go. I could actually go one deeper on this shade. I still have this deer to do, so I'll end up having to make a palette to do him. I'm probably not going to finish that deer today, but I am feeling like I could go one shade darker here. So let me go over to the black. I'm going to choose this color, and then I'm going to open up the circle and I'm going to make it just a little bit darker. So now I've got a really dark Is that necessary? It almost feels like his face needs to be lower. So let me do that. Let me take this line here a little bit lower. And then we'll go all the way to this light color and bring it down. And give him a little more space. Is it that that's bothering me? It was a little bit. Then I'm going to go with that brown right there. Give him a little bit of a shadow there. And I'm going to have to come back with the black. Eek, I just lost my entire palette. Can I go back to my old palette? I can. So let me replace the white. I can always find white again. I just need to get better with the tools on here. I'm used to palettes on Adobe Fresco and Endless Canvas, and they just have a different setup. So it's a matter of getting used to the setup that I'm using. There, that's better. Let's add, let me go back and get that white. Oops, white. Oh, white. Oh, white. There we go, white. And put a little bit of reflection in his eye. That's always nice. Thinking about what else I need to do to this guy. I've got that little bit of dark, extra dark there. Let me do the same thing here. Okay, now I want to go and clean up a couple things with the stars around that guy. What layer are the stars on? I think they were on this layer. Yep. So that is the lower, excuse me, the lower layer. So let's go there, lower layer. Let's choose white and let's clean up that star and that star and that star. And what's happening here? Goodness. Oh. Oops. So I'm tempted to play around with an idea here of, I don't know if it'll work because I think, let's just see if it'll work. So this was on the lower layer and I've turned off all my stars that way. I'm going to turn them, oops, come back here, hidden layer, show it, show lower layer, yes. I'm tempted to make some sparkling kind of looks with some of the stars. So I want to go to the bottom layer and I want to choose something that's almost white. But not quite. Just a little bit gray. I'm on the bottom layer. For instance, oops, no. Okay. What does that look like? Could have one North Star maybe? I think so. I don't know the relationship of the North Star to the Big Dipper, so that could be inaccurate, but I'm not going to worry about it right now. And then I'm just going to work on, go back to my white, make sure, am I on the whitest white? No, I'm not. Let's go back to the white, and finish out the details on these little stars. I really roughed them in. Let's go up to the lower layer. Let's figure out what layer they're on. Lower layer? Nope. They are on, oh, I just did a mark on a lower layer. Let me see if I can undo that mark. Let me use the eraser on this layer here. Here I go again with my eraser issues. I didn't want to do that. Show the bottom layer. Show the upper layer. I'm not going to worry about those white marks that I made. I'm on the upper layer is where I want to work with the white right there. Got the eraser by accident. Let's go back, grab the brush. Got the white color. I'm on the lower layer. I want to be on the upper layer. Upper layer. Yay. Now I'm good. And I'm just going to color in some stars. So in case you joined me late, let me just show you what you can do with this program. Why am I suffering through an eraser that doesn't work well? Let me show you why I am suffering through an eraser that doesn't work well. Because this is an endless zoom project. I plan to do this as an alphabet book, and that is going to be my E page that follows this page, which is my D page, which follows this page, which is my C page. And yep, you've got it. Next is my B page, all the way out to the alligator's eye, sniffing a flower on top of an apple on my A page. So, and I think that's where I'm going to end today. Thank you, everybody, for joining me. I really appreciate it. And I will see you on the next one.